Greetings. I'm Dr. Roger Rabey from Highland Presbyterian Church. Welcome to this Thursday devotional. This will be the last of my summer devotionals. Next week will be the last of the series, and we hope you have enjoyed these times together. Who's the greatest hero in American literature? I want to share a devotion that my good friend Glenn McDonald shared earlier this month because it's so pertinent to the times. Many of you know Glenn. He spoke at Highland Church as one of our Carson lecturers. He has been writing devotions and stories and books for many years, but he announced that he was ending that chapter in his life, and I'd like to share this devotion on his behalf. Who's the greatest hero in American literature? Eliot Engel believes we shouldn't be surprised to discover it's a black slave. What should amaze us in choosing this heroic character was that he was invented by a white Southerner in 1885, just 20 years after the American Civil War. The Southerner whose parents were from Virginia and Kentucky was Mark Twain. The character from the adventures of Huckleberry Finn, the slave Jim. Twain is widely regarded for two literary innovations. First, characters in Twain's novels actually talk like real Americans with a twang or with ain'ts or y'alls instead of sounding some stuffy highbrow. Huckleberry Finn, the second thing about Twain's writings is that he made them funny. And for 250 years up to this time, books were supposed to be serious and certainly not funny. Well, Huckleberry Finn is a story of two runaways, Jim the slave and Huck, the son of a raging alcoholic father who even tried to kill him. But the book landed on the American literary scene with a real thud. Nobody bought the book. People spread the word that its characters were loathsome. And Louisa May Alcott of Massachusetts, famous for her very popular book Little Women, was basically the Oprah Winfrey of her day. If she liked a book, everyone had to read it. And she tried to read Huckleberry Finn and didn't get halfway through it, after which she wrote this letter to Mark Twain. Dear Mr. Twain, I've tried to read your novel, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, but I find the characters and incidents in this book so low, so common, so vulgar, and so dirty that I say to you, Mr. Twain, that if you can't write a better book for our young people than Huckleberry Finn, I suggest you don't write anything in the future. Now, this kind of popularity is not what Mark Twain wanted. But Louisa May Alcott was not finished. She went to the Massachusetts legislature and banned the book from all libraries, saying it had dirty incidents. Well, that was the kind of publicity that Twain wanted. He immediately took out ads and put them all across the country where he proclaimed his latest book had been banned in Massachusetts for all of its dirty incidents. Sales skyrocketed. People couldn't wait to see what was inside that made Louisa May Alcott so anxious. And of course, readers didn't find any dirty incidents. There aren't any. But they did discover the uplifting story of a young boy with a tender conscience. One who was told he was risking going to hell to save his black friend Jim. The novel ultimately became so famous that Mark Twain was a celebrity the rest of his life. As Eliot Engel reports, Twain occasionally received notes like this one. Dear Mr. Twain, I liked your book, but did you realize that you made the hero of your book the most kind, decent, loving person in your novel, the black slave Jim? You can't make a black person the hero of a novel. What do blacks have to do with good society? Twain always gave the same answer. The reason I made the black slave Jim the greatest character in Huckleberry Finn is because since blacks are not taken into good society, they are the only persons in this country who have not been warped and ruined by the good society of which they are not a part. And then he added, Because blacks aren't good enough to be taken into good society, they have to be foolish enough to live by the dictates of Jesus Christ in the Sermon on the Mount. They foolishly think that the last shall one day be the first. And because they are so ill-treated by white society today, not only must they survive by any means they can, but they survive today with a dignity that most white people cannot even imagine. This summer we find ourselves in the midst of the nation's ongoing struggle with racism to determine whose lives really matter and why. Mark Twain voiced his conviction 135 years ago. Those who are seeking great character, great hearts, great lives will be well served if they are utterly colorblind. Thank you, Glenn, for your writings all these years. Thank you for your stories, your faith, and your ministry. Friends, be safe, stay healthy, and keep praying. Bye.